Merry Christmas everyone, I'm Ollie Rodriguez-Stolman, and if you're new to the channel, this is my Christmas Day tradition. I upload a video, sort of take a look back on the year we've just had, talk about the channel a little bit, what's been going on in my life, and just wish you all a Merry Christmas. I hope you've had a good day so far, whether it's the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, or even at the middle of the night. Who knows how hard you're partying on Christmas Day, but I hope it has been good either way, and I'm going to start by talking about how my 2023 has been and going over some of the highlights. Now, the highlights for me this year, they've actually been pretty good. Last year it was if you go back and watch last year's video, there was quite a lot of downs, but there were a couple of highs. But this year it's been mostly highs, which I'm glad to say. And the first high for me is actually I finally passed my driving test. It's something that I've been trying to do kind of since I was 17, but then I kind of took a bit of a break for it, and this year I finally just put the work in. I actually was able to do a 1-week course where essentially I learned everything that I needed to in a week. However, one of the only things is I failed my test the first time due to reasons of I was basically taught the wrong route on one of the routes basically, which was unfortunate. But then I came back about probably, let's say, less than a month later, and I actually passed my test with 0 faults, which shows I was ready, and I was actually really proud of that. And that's probably my highlight of the year in terms of actually achieving something. It's been a goal that's been high on my list for a while, and I'm so super glad to be able to get that out of the way. If you want to know the whole story of my driving and whatnot, you can go and click and watch the video there. But let's move into the second thing that's happened this year, which is I've actually found a job. So last year I was basically made unemployed, and I essentially spent most of the year trying to find a job. And after applying countlessly for many different places, trying to get into something to do with digital marketing, something to do with social media, I eventually found somewhere, which is where I'm now working, which is basically a shopping centre. It's called Southgate, and one of the largest parts of my job is essentially making content for the Instagram account. There's also Facebook and Twitter, but Instagram is kind of like the main focus of it, and I am personally really proud of what I've been able to do for that account, being able to grow it by 1,000 followers, be able to improve the average engagement that it gets on posts, and overall created some good content, in my opinion anyway, that people seem to receive well. And what I'm really hoping it does for me is it's kind of given me almost the platform to almost build the rest of my career off of in terms of digital marketing and where I might go in the future. And overall it's been really interesting for me to just sort of learn about the ins and outs of like retail and what goes on in a shopping center, and finding out various ways on how I can actually approach to promoting it and marketing it. And if you would like to go and give it a follow to boost it up a little bit, and always like the posts when they come out, that'd be appreciated, but you don't have to. One of the trips I went on was actually a trip to Copenhagen. Me and Els went there for basically, I think it was literally the in-between period of we went the day after my birthday and came back the day before her birthday, because there's like a 6-day difference in between mine and Elsa's birthdays. But Copenhagen honestly was a really lovely place to go. I kind of felt like it was a weird merge of like New York meets Amsterdam kind of weird. That's how I kind of felt the vibe was there. We went and looked around the castle there. We stayed in a really lovely hotel. I'd definitely recommend it for anyone who might be considering going there. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I might leave a link in the description or put it on screen for you now. It was a beautiful place with really nice architecture, and it really felt like somewhere that, again, I felt like I could personally just move to and just live there. I still think Edinburgh might be on top of my list for that though, but Copenhagen was pretty decently up there in terms of me wanting to move to a different country. So one of the goals that I was trying to achieve this year, which was something that didn't really go super well, was basically I did try going to the gym and getting a bit healthier. It's something for me that I've just kind of struggled with personally, and it's been a mix of just like, I think, own self-doubt, but also kind of like maybe not pushing myself enough or making more excuses for myself, such as like not being able to wake up early enough in the morning, wanting to get more sleep over actually going and working out. Like, I'll be honest, like when I went and worked out and did those like early mornings, it really did help me mentally and just like physically overall. It really made me feel good about myself, but it was just something that, especially as trying to focus more on my work and trying to get into my job a bit more and take it a bit more seriously, or just take it seriously overall, it was something I was struggling to hit a balance with. And I feel like I'm only really just starting to get a bit of a balance with work life and personal life routine and trying to like make it all even out. So this is probably something that will come up later, but it is probably going to be something that I kind of look to improve on and actually implement more into my 2024 goals. And I did spend the first, like, I'd say like the first 3 months, which is the kind of period of time where I was unemployed. I basically sort of spent that sort of period of time actually going to the gym, but past that and trying to get a job, basically it just all kind of crumbled apart, unfortunately. Now I'm going to be honest, this might be my favourite thing of the year, and this was going to All In for AEW's Wembley Stadium show. absolutely had a blast. It was basically like on my bucket list of things to do in terms of like going to see a wrestling show live, in case you don't know me very well. This is actually the poster for that show, actually. I'm a massive wrestling fan, and something I've always wanted to do is go to like a pay-per-view event, and I've been able to tick that off my list. And not only that, that's not even one of the reasons it's like the highlight of my year. As good of a show as it was, and as much as I loved it, one of the best parts about going to that show is I actually met my best friend for the first time ever. So I basically got a mate online. You guys may have heard me talk about him on the channel. You may have heard him go by the name Lambo, or Donnie Lambo. That's his online gamer tag. But I basically met him for the first time, and it was super amazing to meet him. Lambo, I love you. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good Christmas. And I think one of the craziest things that I think about now, like in hindsight and whatnot, is the fact that like the show me and him decided to meet up at for a wrestling thing and meet for the first time is like we call each other bros and whatnot. But the fact like there's that element of it, and our first wrestling show we're going to is basically main evented by two guys who are also like bros in their storyline and whatnot, was kind of just like, I think it was just sort of like meant to be in a way. So that was definitely like probably one of my favorite highlights of this year. Now let's take a look at the YouTube channel. This has probably been one of the biggest changes I've made to the channel as of probably the latest few years. I've kind of been playing around with it, I'd say since like 2020, maybe 2019, kind of been trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing with it. And I think this year I've finally figured it out, and that's to go fully vinyl related. And I'm aware this video isn't really a vinyl related video, but this is kind of like my thing I just do on Christmas. It's mainly a video put out there for anyone who may be feeling alone or is just bored during like the in-between periods on Christmas Day, and a chance for me to just look back. So this is like the exception to that sort of rule, with just becoming just a fully vinyl niche. But since doing it, I've just seen the numbers in terms of videos and subscribers just go up, and it has made me super happy, because I may have put out a message, I believe, I kind of remembered this the other day, I put out a message at the start of this year, or maybe just before the start of the year, being like, this is going to be like possibly my last year on YouTube. And I was essentially saying, if I don't see growth, I'm just going to probably like quit it. But I have seen the most growth on my channel ever, and I just feel like it's just going to become more and more. And I just feel like if I stop now, I would live to regret that decision. So good news is I'm sticking around on YouTube for a bit longer. I'm going to go until the wheels fall off, essentially. I think something I wasn't seeing in my YouTube channel last year is potential, whereas this year I'm seeing the potential a lot more in terms of where it can go, where it can lead, and it makes me super happy to see that. Like, one of the stats I found out today was basically that it's not going to sound a lot in the grand scheme of things, especially when you compare it to other YouTubers, but I gained 162 subscribers this year, which is the most I've ever gained in a year. I've also had a video, I feel like I haven't checked it yet. Now might be a good time to check. I can actually get my reactions to it if it is past it, because the last time I checked it was on 9.8k. Whereas if I just take a second to find it now, 9.9k, okay, we're not quite there yet, so make sure to go and watch that video to push it over the line, because that'll be my first video that ever hits over 10k views. And I feel like that's a good place to kind of transfer into this sort of topic of things with YouTube. I haven't been as consistent as I would like to be, and the transition there is that video essentially carried me for a lot of this year when I wasn't uploading. In case you don't know what video I'm on about, by the way, it's the 2022 vinyl haul, essentially, every vinyl I got in 2022. I'm super proud of the video itself, and especially of how well it is done in the algorithm, but the only thing I feel like I've kind of lacked on is almost capitalizing on it exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure I counted I've only done, I think it was either 12 or 13 or 14, around that number of videos this year, which on average is like at least once per month, which is kind of what I was aiming for originally. I think it was more 2 a month was my aim, but when I look at it, it just feels a bit lackluster. And I think especially when I see the growth that the channel's been getting, I know that I can be hitting even more if I was uploading a lot more. And I think my main issue with that has just been trying to get the balance of filming a video and getting work done, because I don't really have the time to create videos in the style I'd like to do. Like right now, I'm kind of a little bit more quieter than I would usually be, or as like not as energetic as I would like to be, because people are sleeping right now. It is currently no, it's 11:23, so I'm trying to be a bit cautious and not disturb people, which I probably am doing. But the thing is, I know if I don't film this now, I legitimately don't have the time to edit a video and upload it. So it's kind of now or never. And I have genuinely thought about like maybe trying to switch up my work weeks in some way if I'm able to, which I think it's probably going to be very unlikely in terms of like trying to like drop down, even if it was like half a day on a Friday that I worked and then use the other half to get home and then actually put like film a video. Even something like that would give me time to put more effort into this channel. But that's just something I've got to kind of figure out myself and try and get together a bit more, which is something that I'll just figure out in my free time. But trust me, it's something I'm aware of, it's something I want to work on in the new year. However, I'm not going to let that overshadow how well the channel has done, and genuinely thank you all so much, because it has genuinely made me so happy to see how well the channel's doing at the moment. So for 2024, I am looking to be a bit more consistent with the channel. I'll probably still aim for around about 2 videos a month, but maybe try and make it a bit more so it's like almost like a video every 2 weeks. I'm trying to be realistic about it, and I'm also trying to be optimistic and maybe try and push myself more than I think I can do, if that makes sense. Now, if you thought I was inconsistent with YouTube, I was very inconsistent with my music, because I essentially almost left it for the whole year, came to it, and then just left it again. So in case you don't know, I actually am a rapper, and I don't produce music. I'm more songwrite and actually rap. I more so find beats and rap over them. That's kind of what I do. Now, something that is kind of, I feel like has made me stuck in my music for the past like 2, I'm gonna say even maybe 3 years, is that I basically had a whole project planned out, essentially ready to go, and it was called University Dropout, which is obviously to do with my whole university experience. But due to some of the more personal elements of that album, essentially, I kind of was on this kind of thing of like, I'm going to release it, no I'm not, I want to release it but I'm probably not going to the point at which I've kind of just decided to just put it on the back burner and just leave it alone. And maybe it'll come out one day, maybe it won't, maybe I'll drop bits of it, which I actually technically have done one song from the album, and that's the song 18th of October. But anyway, before I release that, actually, I basically, this year was kind of on a thing of like, I need to release some form of music, and I want to put out some form of project. I think originally I was going to do kind of my sequel to what I did before, which is called Sex in a Chamber, and this one instead, or which is still planned at some point, is going to be called Dual Wielding, something like that. AKA 12 in the chamber, so there are 6 bullets in each gun. Bullet equals a song, so 12 songs would be on the project, but that's something to talk about another day. The project I ended up releasing was one called Summertime High, and it was essentially just supposed to be a mixture of songs that I just put together, and I overall am pretty happy with the content of the songs. I think my favourite song, the mixtape I guess is probably more suitable for it, is probably the last song on it, which is called Chosen, the first song which is called Back for the Summer, and also Summer Night Skies. And then honourable mention to How I would probably be the other one. And one of the things with it is I did 0 promotion for it. I just kind of dropped it because I just kind of wanted, for my own sake, to just drop something, and I didn't really care how it performed. Although saying that, I did want to make a video doing like an explained video, or kind of like how I did for either the Dreamland video, which is more of an explained video, or how I did like the recording a rap song thing. Like, I've got built up footage that I can use as like behind the scenes sort of stuff for it, and it's a video I was planning to release after dropping it, which was originally the album was supposed, or the project was supposed to drop in like July. I didn't get around to it till September, because it's obviously called Summertime High, and that was kind of like the last point in time I could release it, which meant in October I was going to do the behind the scenes video, essentially talking about it. I haven't got around to that, and that's been a video that I've been meaning to get around to, and I just haven't, because of the reasons I've given before about work and whatnot. And for me, those are my favourite videos to do. So in the new year, trust me, that's going to be one of the videos you will see. I know I've made the channel very vinyl focused, but I still feel like those videos have a place on this channel, mainly because they are music related, so they still fit in with the vibe that I'm going for. So expect to see that somewhere. ORD, I am planning to make something happen with it. I feel like it's more of a long-term goal for the future more than anything, whereas right now my kind of focus is more on the YouTube side of things. Oh, hang on a second, one of my notes slipped through the crack. There was one more thing I needed to mention. This is literally something I've done over the past 3 days, and I've only done it twice, but I've come back to streaming. Live streaming probably, let's say back in 2021, maybe 2022, so in between that time period. For me, was something that I really enjoyed doing and got really addicted to, and really actually started to grow doing live streaming. Unfortunately, it kind of got cut short a little bit and sort of cut off, and and I was streaming on Twitch back in the day. Sort of came to this channel this year, and because I saw the growth of it and whatnot, I thought I'd try streaming again. But I think one of the things that I have realized is that YouTube does not prioritize streaming as much unless you are a large creator. And you could say the same for Twitch, but at least Twitch is almost built for live streaming, and there are ways people can come across your videos as a smaller streamer. And I think if you really want me to be honest, one of my long-term plans with this channel is there is only so far I can take talking about vinyls and what I can sort of show as videos and whatnot besides buying more vinyls. It's like a double-edged sword. Like, I could technically take this concept and topic on forever, but also there is a bit of a glass box outside that sort of realm, which is why I kind of have the idea to use music as a bit more of a thing in terms of doing my own music, using that as a way to kind of add more to this channel and give it, I guess, longevity. But on top of that, I'm also thinking about when we get a bit more of an audience going, having a place for people to come and hang out and build a community and almost just hang out and just chill. And I think the place to do that is on live streams on Twitch. So hopefully when we get the channel going a bit more and people are saying hello and sort of interacting a bit more, I can invite you guys over to the Twitch channel and we can hang out there, and I can do streams there and kind of use that as a way for longevity of this channel, hopefully. Now, I have only done 2 streams, and that was basically last year. You might remember, you can go back and check it out on the channel actually, but I did a whole series called Christmas Craft or Minecraft, and that's basically what I've come back to. It's supposed to be something that I do like yearly, almost like these videos, my yearly tradition, where during December to the new year, I basically play this world, leave it for a year, come back to it the next year, and then rinse and repeat and add to it and whatnot. That's kind of the idea of the Minecraft world I've done. And off the 2 streams I've done with it, I've actually gained like 3 or 4 more followers to it, which I was quite surprised by. I've actually had someone interact with me in my chat the other night, so it didn't put me off not doing it, so I'm going to keep on going with it and see how it goes for the rest of the month. Speaking of which, I probably won't actually get around to net streaming until this video's gone out, so I'll put a link down below to the Twitch if you want to go and follow it. But basically, I've got the next 2 weeks off, and during some of this time I am planning to stream a bit more and longer streams as well, so if you're around, feel free to come and check me out and say hello. Might be able to have a convo. Okay, so now here come the shout outs. I don't have a lot of them, I've got to be honest. It's just kind of something where I just kind of go, I've kind of got my content creators I go to just watch and just have comfort on in the background and whatnot. But there is one guy who I discovered this year who I want to shout out, and his name is DLK Games. And basically, going back to the wrestling thing, he's basically half kind of a wrestling content creator slash like just gaming content creator. But I think probably 2 or 3 months ago now, maybe even longer, surprisingly, I basically came across his channel on Twitch as I was sort of like looking to come back into the Twitch space, and I was looking to see what was going on in the wrestling categories, and I found his channel and I absolutely love the content he does. I love his personality, I love his energy, and I just overall think he's a really good content creator to watch. If you're not into wrestling, he's still someone to watch, because the kind of way he sets up his live streams is he'll do like sort of like a couple hours playing like WWE, and then the next few hours playing something like Assassin's Creed or some form of single player game. And he's sort of the only real shout out I have to give. I'm going to do the usual Charlie, however this is no more a Charlie Dillon, this is a Charlie Berry. If you don't know who Charlie is by now, then shame on you. You need to go back and watch all the other Christmas videos where I've mentioned him. This is probably the 4th or 5th time I've mentioned him now. He basically just like talks about stuff he's interested in on YouTube as well as TikTok, so go and check out either of those platforms he's on, because you'll get some entertainment from Charlie, trust me. And that's really it on content creators. The other one I was going to shout out is a channel called Wrestle Talk. Again, I love wrestling and whatnot. That's just a channel that I personally get a lot of enjoyment from. They do also have a board game channel called No Rolls Barred, which isn't wrestling related, so you might find some enjoyment there actually if you have zero interest in wrestling, which trust me, I understand if people don't. So do feel free to go out and check any of those guys out. There'll be a link in the description. And that's all the shout outs I really have. I really want to go through and make a bit more of an effort to find people either on TikTok or on YouTube or Twitch, and just kind of like, I really want to make this section bigger next year, because I know even last year it wasn't that big, and yeah, it's just a case of me to go through the effort to find people, and it also might be good just for networking sake in itself. Now it's kind of time to talk about my goals for the next year, and in terms of 2023, the kind of overall objective and mission statement, I guess, was to essentially 2023, the year of improving me. Do I feel like I've improved? Yes, I found a job, I was able to drive, two real big things that I needed to do and have helped improve myself. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to improve my health, which is something that I really need to address personally and just like get done. But overall as a year, 2023 has been good to me, and when I compare it to 2022, it makes me feel luckier for this year in terms of how it's gone. Fingers crossed nothing happens in the next like week, but nothing terrible has happened. But looking ahead to 2024, first goal, as I've already kind of gone off, is basically I need to go to the gym, I need to get healthier, I need to get fitter. That's probably the main goal. The second goal next to that is to move out. That was another goal I was looking to achieve this year. Unfortunately, just with how everything has been, how chaotic it has been, just the realism of trying to actually get around to it just hasn't been possible. It is more the goal to not just move out, but it is to also buy a place of my own, slash of our own with Ellie. I'm also looking to do more music. That's something I'm interested in doing, but higher than that is basically YouTube. I really want to make a real good go at this channel, and I think I can hit 1,000 subs. It's something that I have not felt like I could do, but this is the most I felt like I could do it, so that is my number one goal, to hit it. And surprisingly, I don't think it's going to take a year to do. I generally feel like if I'm consistent and I stick with the vinyl stuff, I will hit it probably, my guess is going to be by July at the latest. And then kind of to link into that, I want to create more content, be a bit more consistent. And then the final goal is to further develop my career. So in terms of my job, I really like it. I think just personally for me, I would like to be somewhere surrounded by a lot more marketers. Like in the long-term goal of my career, essentially, I would like to be involved in an actual like social media slash digital marketing agency. However, if I am like fully, completely open and honest, I don't think it's like something that I've ever really like thought I'd be doing in terms of what I'm doing now as a job. Like, trust me, I'm super grateful I've gotten to the point I'm at. I feel like I've worked very hard to like get into a creative job role and get paid for it, and I do not take that for granted whatsoever, but it's not the dream. The dream for me has always been to be a YouTuber or to be a rapper. Like, as stupid as it might sound, like those are my two dreams that I've really been wanting to do. And if there was some way for me to push through that and be able to make this, like, if I'm fully honest with you, I don't think just doing vinyls and stuff is going to be enough for me to ever like make a living off of doing YouTube. And this is me being like, I'm just doing YouTube for the money. It's nothing to do with that. It's more to do with doing what I love, which is YouTube, but being able to fund myself to be able to do it for a living. And realistically, I know that's not probably going to ever really happen now, but a dream is still to make something happen with this. And even if I'm able to just do the vinyl channel and earn from it, so then that way I can put it back into the channel, I'm more than happy with that. I've been on YouTube for 10 years already. In March, I think, it might be later or sooner, I can't remember, but that's when this channel officially hits 10 years old, which is absolutely baffling to me. And I mean, actually think about it, if I was able to hit that 1K goal by then, that would almost be just like almost a full circle moment, or just like one of those moments where it's like, shit. Like, you know, those type of moments where it's like, just almost feels like it's meant to be. If something like that were to happen, I would be astonished and just like almost take it as an extra sign. But for right now, like, I've got to kind of like balance stuff with my fantasies and my reality. I've done that intentionally because I've had a whole project in my like music thing I've wanted to do for a long time called Fantasies versus Realities Volume 1, and want to make it like a little series. But anyway, I digress. Thank you so much for everything you've like done for me this year in terms of motivating me with YouTube and making me realize that something could possibly happen with it. It generally makes me it just makes me smile. You can see what it's doing to me, and hopefully we can take it further than where I think is possible. And if we can, I would see it as a Christmas miracle, let's say. Just to bring it all the way back round to Christmas is what this video is supposed to be about. So I hope you go on to enjoy your cheese and crackers, your turkey, whatever it is. I'm vegetarian, so don't do murder. It doesn't bother me, I don't care. Just enjoy your day, enjoy being with your family and friends. I'm gonna leave you now. Thank you for watching. Hope you're feeling alright. If you're not, find the right people. There's places for you to contact in the description. Take care. I shall see you in the new year. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Later. I feel like that ended very abruptly. But fuck it, it is currently 9 minutes to 9 and I have work that I have to wake up for at 10 to 7.